Good morning. My name is Miss Lynn. I'm with ELM, Early Literacy Matters, here in Tampa. Early Literacy Matters has been funded since 2002 by a grant from the Children's Board of Hillsborough County. That's what's bringing this book to you today. The book we're going to concentrate on today is Learning About Plants. It has 3 words in the title: Learning About Plants. But it's a very long book, so we're going to divide the book into 2 parts. This is part 1 today. This book, Learning About Plants, has an author, but it does not have an illustrator because it is what's called a non-fiction book. And non-fiction books are written about things in real life. So these have pictures of beautiful plants, but they are not hand-drawn by an illustrator. They're photographs that someone took of real plants from the garden. This book is in support of our theme about gardens and springtime. So let's get started. This is the front part of the book, by the way, where the title is. And this is the back part of the book, which has words, but words that are not as important as the title of the story, Learning About Plants. We repeat the title on the title page, Learning About Plants. And every time I read from left to right, the way that you will read someday. Blackberry. Did you know that blackberries grow on blackberry bushes? It's a kind of fruit that we enjoy and the birds do too. So the blackberry bush has something on the stem called a thorn. A thorn keeps birds and other animals from eating all of the fruit. Here is the word fruit, and it points specifically to the blackberry. Here are the roots of the blackberry plant, pictured there. All plants have roots, a system whereby they draw water up from the soil and get all the water and nutrients they need to live. The next picture is of a bluebell. Bluebells are a kind of flower. They have beautiful lavender petals. There's the word petal. And they have a stem and a root that pulls water up through the stem to the bluebells themselves. Bulrush. A bulrush is also called a cattail. We have those in Tampa. If you go to any of our marshland in Tampa, you can see cattails growing. The cattail, which is this part right here, is actually considered the flower of the plant. It also has a stem, a very long stem, to draw water up through the marshland to the flower. Another flower is called the cosmos. This one begins with the letter C, cosmos. It also has petals and a stem for water, and its leaves look very different than some of the leaves on the other plants. Freesia. Freesia is also a beautiful flowering plant. Up here, a new word that we haven't talked about is bud. The bud is the part of the plant that is tight and closed just before the flower blooms. Honesty. Honesty is a flowering plant, but you would never know by this picture because this picture is showing the seeds and seed pods of the honesty plant. So the honesty plant has seeds which are encapsulated or covered by a seed pod. There are so many interesting plants. I hope you and your parents will take an opportunity to walk in your garden or go to the park and look at some of our unusual plants. Hyacinth smells very nice. It has lots of perfumey fragrance. And instead of a seed, it has what I would call a new vocabulary here, bulb. So instead of coming from a seed, a hyacinth comes from a bulb, which is like a seed, except it already has new growth sticking out. Ivy is a leafy plant. There's the word leaf. And it shows all kinds of veins in the leaf. That's where the ivy gets its water. The water comes through its vine and into its leaves to keep the plant healthy. So they're calling this a stem, which it is, and it's part of a vine. We're going to talk about one more flower today. It's called the orchid. The orchid is a beautiful flower. They do grow wild in Florida. And here's a new vocabulary word, pollen. Pollen is the little granulated part of the plant where the bees come to pollinate the plant. Pollen is sticky, and pollinators, like bees, take the pollen from this plant to another plant so that new baby orchids can grow. Orchids also have petals. So we're going to stop there today. The next plant in part 2 we'll talk about is the pitcher plant, and the pitcher plant is very unusual. So come back and join us for part 2, and happy reading.